So, backed by popular demand is a tour of RB's bike collection. Start off with the badges on the wall and so on, patches and stuff. Underneath that is a 1974 new old stock Indicrate H2B, brought into Kawasaki Midwest at Grand Rapids in Michigan in 1974. So it's green. Obviously the mileage is 0. Actually 1.8 miles. They do run the bikes up and they run the meters up to test them. That was an engine that went bang in rather a big way, straight down the front, and I'm not sure if you'll see it, but out of the back as well. Again via Larry Stone's in Detroit, Michigan. New old stock F175C 1974. That's quite interesting. Bought that at Mid-Ohio. That's a Z1R racer, radio controlled, the obligatory Hilaire model, a little 68 bushwhacker. And the Maguru SG1, the first 250. This is a Maguru motorcycle with a Kawasaki 250 engine. You can see the Kawasaki there. A couple of years later, Kawasaki bought Maguru out and went on to make their own motorcycles badged under their own name. Again at that time, 1966, we have a Section W1 engine. This is a carbon copy of the BSA A10 engine. There's your cam followers in there. Your valves all rocking away at the top here. These sectioned engines were given away to the dealers. This particular engine I bought about 6 years ago, I think. I bought it off eBay for $300 off a guy who used to have a dealership in Florida. I flew out there, dragged it back, and a good friend of mine called Phil Kawasaki in the UK, he restored it, and we then put a motor on it, thanks to Alistair for the motor. W1P 1967 W1 police bike, Australian spec, with a cable driven siren that is absolutely awesome. Driven off the back wheel. I don't know if you can see that down there. Let's try and zoom in. You pull this lever on the handlebars up here, wherever it is. Pull this lever there, the second one underneath, and it in turn throws the drive onto the back wheel. Pretty unique. 1969 W2 TT, allegedly one of 45 bikes ever built. Pretty rare machine if that's the case. 1966 W1 650, restored by Phil Kawasaki. Stunning bike, absolutely beautiful. 1976 Z750, or KZ750 as guys in the States would know it. Z750B1, absolute pile of shit, the worst nightmare you could ever ride, and I only say that because I hate it, because it is the bike that Kawasaki chose to replace the H2. 1973 Z1 in the alternative yellow and green colour. These bikes mainly came to Europe. I don't think the US got any of those bikes. Next one up, Z1R Turbo, genuine with the Molly graphics. You'll find that bike on every road test in the UK for the last 10 years that's tested the turbo. In fact, there's one there on the seat. Son of a smoking gun. Also, you'll find that bike on, if you search Top Gear, the BBC TV programme Top Gear Kawasaki, you'll find that they tested it on there. KC1300 low number bike, number 87, I think that's, oh no, 874, February 1979. All the usual stuff on the walls. Quite an interesting one that one is. K-Line, Kawasaki Mach 3 shatters the world course record. That would in fact be the legendary Tony Nicosia there on the cover. Over to this bike, a bike you didn't get in the US unfortunately, the beautiful little Kawasaki 250 S1 Triple. The first 250 came out almost a year after the 350 Triple. My very first bike, fully restored at ridiculous cost, my little S1B 250. the ever popular halibut blue S1C 250, followed by the first disc brake. You guys in the US got a drum brake version of this, but that is the first disc brake Kawasaki KH250, followed by the S2, 1972 S2, or the original, probably about 3,000 miles, I think that one, yep. 1973 S2A, 1970 H1, the Rusty Bradley H1. This particular bike is the bike that Kawasaki gave to Rusty Bradley, the Texas, or the late Rusty Bradley, the Texas road racer, who was the first guy to win on a Kawasaki at Daytona. And Kawasaki gave him this particular bike. His name is still on the title. My sectioned H1 engine, let's just switch it on, you can see it running. Driven by a chain back here, through the primary drive. Obviously it's sparking up there. Gears and gearbox down there. Round here, the rotor. The clutch assembly spinning away. The gearbox spinning away in there. All good stuff. Next to that we have a British H1B. The main differences depicting the British H1B are the low bars, flat bars generally. No front reflector, again standard orange colour. Next to that is a new old stock H1C, what we call a part spin special. Say new old stock, it's done 2 miles, most of that has been pushed around. 1976 KH500 in the ever popular turd brown. Ugh. 1972 blue H2, nothing stunning about this one, it's just an average Joe bike. 1973 gold H2A. This machine came in 2 colours, the gold or the purple. This particular bike is a gold one of 30 sold in the UK in 1973. They only sold 30 of these bikes, all 30 were gold. 1974 low mileage green H2B, it's done 1,000 miles from new. This one came in from a good friend of mine, John Woodmore, about 12 years ago, came in from Canada. And my beautiful H2C, new old stock, brand new, never had gas or oil in it, never run, well not run since it left the factory 30 years ago. Obviously flawless, an ideal point for restoration. I will, in the near future, be compiling CDs with photos of this bike for reference purposes that you can purchase. Oh, while I'm at it, there we go. An S1 250 and an S2 350 exhaust pipe cut down the middle to reveal the cones of an expansion chamber buried inside the exhaust pipe. This is all my memorabilia stuff over the years. Hundreds of books of reference. How about those cool Kawasaki sunglasses? Or Kawasaki sodas? Or what about that for an H1? How many miles? I'll tell you. 95,000 miles that H1 covered. Who says triplers aren't reliable?